Hey everybody, Chunk Fu Gaming here. Thanks for stopping by and welcome to another edition of The Art of War. The Art of War series is a deep dive look at my Deathgiver engagements over the last week to find out what I did well, what went wrong, what I need to work on, and hopefully I can show you guys what I've been up to over the last week, teach you a couple things, and hopefully learn a couple things. Please feel free to leave a comment about this video or about the format of the Art of War series in the comments section below. Looking forward to getting your feedback. Without further ado, let's get started. In our first engagement, we come across a single faction flag player with a carving sword, cloth armor, and a guardian helm. I should have inspected him as he was getting closer, but I figured let's just start our stacks and get this fight started. There really isn't anything about this build that scares me other than the W reflect on his sword. We'll play it by ear. We'll see how this goes, but this could be an interesting fight, seeing as how that carving and cloth armor can put out some serious damage. So I start off the fight with a quick E, and I thought I put enough distance between myself and my opponent where an auto attack wouldn't bring me out of invis. But as it turns out, the range on the carving sword's pretty large, and he did make contact with me, took some damage, and came out of invis. I'm going to have to be mindful of that going forward. This is also one of the reasons why I love playing carving sword. It's one of the best weapons in the game. Really enjoy running it. Does a ton of damage, especially with cloth armor. I'm going to have to be a little bit more careful next time. All right, that's what I like to see. My opponent made a mistake here. He actually used his Reflect W when I was out of range. So not only did he use it when I was attacking him, he didn't actually put any damage down on me. Now I know I've got some time to drop a huge attack on him here. As I come out of invis from my last E, he pops his guardian helmet and his health potion. At that point I figured, well, let me go ahead and start my stacks again and then ambush, see if I can get a Hellion shoe on him, put some extra damage down. Overall, this was a pretty good fight. A couple of things I could have improved upon. Should have probably played a little bit more aggressive, taken the fight to him a little bit earlier. That said, I did get lucky, not get reflected on, was able to secure the kill, moving on to the next one. In this next engagement, I come across two players. One of them's at half health, and the other one is using their cultist robe to heal back up, which is good news for me. The bad news for me is that it's a mace, one-handed mace, and a Deathgiver combo. This is not going to be a whole lot of fun. The Deathgiver does a good job of getting out of combat and starting healing while the tank tries to stun me. I was really hoping to get a quick kill on the Deathgiver, but he played it pretty well, got some of that health back, and by the time he comes back out of invis, he's at 80% health, the tank's at 80% health, and I have got a fight on my hands. One of the reasons why one-handed mace or any build that has stuns is bad for Deathgivers is that I did put my Hellion shoe on the Deathgiver, but his stun actually brought me out of it. I was able to recover and get off a W and an E on the Deathgiver, getting him to about 20% health, so things are looking up. The mace does a really good job of coming back to his partner and then hitting him with a guardian helm, healing both of them, so that was a pretty short-lived advantage. I'm going to have to get pretty creative here. Actually made a huge mistake by auto-attacking the Deathgiver there. I came out of ambush. I should have stayed in ambush a little bit longer so I can drop a double E and Stalkerhood combo on him. Probably could have finished him right then and there. The auto-attack brings me out of invis, and I have got some problems. So I'm trying not to go toe-to-toe with them. I've actually got off a good chain slash, bringing both targets a little bit lower. I'm then spacing out, taking a heal pot. Hopefully I can stay alive long enough to secure at least one kill here, and if things go well, maybe win the fight. The Deathgiver goes invisible again. At that point, I choose to place a Hellion Shoe marker on the mace, with the idea that as long as I can get out of that Hellion Shoe, I won't shoe to him so he can stun me, and it'll get me away from the Deathgiver. Let's see how that plays out. So I made another mistake here by E'ing the mace. I actually put myself back into his stun range. Not only that, I E'd the mace when he had all of his defensives up, so I did hardly any damage to him. So that was really just two mistakes. At this point, my only chance is to secure a kill on the Deathgiver and then go 1v1 with the mace. Unfortunately, I know that the cooldown on his cultist robe is almost up, so I know I'm up against it right now. So after another stun from the mace, I was able to get free and secure a kill on the Deathgiver, which is the good news. The bad news is the mace is probably around 65% health, and that cultist robe cooldown is probably just about up. This is going to be really close. Oh, that stun really hurts. I thought I was out of range, but that stun just got me. The problem here is that I've got to restart my stacks. I had just eat him. I got him to right around half health. This is still winnable for me, as long as he doesn't pop his cultist robe. At this point, I really needed to pop my ambush after restarting my stacks, wait for my Hellion Shoes, and then basically put down as much damage as possible, all in on this one. Unfortunately, I did not ambush in time, and he was actually able to do enough damage to take me out of the fight. So, here I am, just scouting some dungeons looking for some players, when I notice that somebody behind me flagged up. I guess I'm just going to have to wait for him to show up. I assume he's behind me. It's possible he's in front of me, not 100% sure. I'm going to go ahead and eat my stew and see what happens. So I notice that I'm up against a claymore in cloth armor. On the way in, the claymore aggroes the crossbowman, so I just move a little bit closer to the crossbowman so that that mob can put some extra damage on the claymore. I'm forcing the claymore to make a decision. Does he want to stick around and put damage on me, or does he want to leash that mob? In any case, let's see what happens. The claymore decides to leash the mob. Meanwhile, I've got 3 stacks waiting for him to come back. Hopefully I can get some Hellion Shoes on him here and put some damage down. So this is pretty much an ideal situation for me in this fight. My Hellion Shoes baited out his Hunter Hood defensive, so all I really need to do now is wait out that Hunter Hood, and then I can put down 2 E's without fear of being reflected. Another good thing is my W, which is Chain Slash, allows me to put damage on targets while I'm invincible, so although he has a defensive up, it won't reflect back on me. Anytime you're running any dagger and you're running Chain Slash, if you see somebody with a Hunter Hood up or any type of defensive that might reflect it, it's a perfect time to use your W. We call it the iframe. It's great because you're invulnerable and putting damage on the target. You have to do it every time. It's a huge advantage. And then once that Hunter Hood cools down, I drop 2 E's with a Stalker Hood and end this fight quickly. In this last engagement, I come across a single player. He's on a great axe. He's also got 2 mobs on him, and he's at half health. It's just really, really unlucky for him. I got to be a little bit careful, though, because that boss does have one of those chain pull abilities, so I would prefer to not just dive headlong in. I could probably kill him right off the bat here, but I almost kind of feel bad for the guy. I kind of want to let him to see if he can rebuild some health and we can have a fight. So the Great Axe is back up to full health, and he actually timed his defensive really, really well. I didn't put any damage down on that W, but I'd rather lose the W than the E. Although he timed it really well, I still have my E. It looks like he's trying to go for the exit. So one of the things about playing Great Axe is that you never really want to get caught in any of their spinning blades or their spin to win ability. Luckily for me, there's an object in the middle of this hallway. That table actually provides a nice buffer, some distance between me and him. So I'm actually standing outside of those spinning blades, and as soon as that goes down, it allows me to put down a W and an E. I'm just on my 3rd stack. I wait for that to cool down, and then I hit him with a combo. So using the invis after my E attack allows me to put some distance between me and him. At that point, he pops his Merc Jacket, which is great news for me because I'm really far away from him. There's no way at all he's going to be able to regen any health on that jacket. By the time he gets to me, that will be burned off. Good news is I've got my Hellion Shoes coming up, my E is ready. I'm about to put this guy down. So the moral of the story here is Great Axes are great for fame farming in dungeons, but they're not very good at PvP. At this point, he's doing his spin to win. I don't even care. I just put my shoes on him, put down a double E Stalker Hood combo, and end the fight. Alright everybody, that does it for this edition of The Art of War. Thanks again for stopping by. I really appreciate you checking out the video. Please leave a comment or feedback in the comment section below. Happy to incorporate that in my next video. Also, please hit the subscribe button and the notification button so that you're notified of the next version of The Art of War. As always, go get some chunks.